Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Apron Bumps Wrestling Podcast. It is episode 13, and we have a big review to do. It's a couple days late. It did actually slip my mind, I won't lie. So that's on me. That is on me for getting busy Monday and not getting it done Monday, and then I don't know what happened Tuesday. It's just like I think everybody was just busy with Tuesday. But Monday I dropped the ball, and as a result, 2 days kind of got behind us. And now, but hey, fucking better late than never. Hey, boys, like, you know.
Hey, at least we're putting one out.
Yes, at least we're like getting it done. Like it's better than just going like, oh, do a prediction for a show that we're never going to review. But no, here we are. We're going to review it. So NXT Takeover In Your House aired last Sunday night. It's the first takeover that's happened since lockdown. The quarantine, going out throughout the whole world, because the last takeover before this was Portland, and this is the first takeover to happen since things got fucky, we'll say. So, yeah, it was an interesting show. Obviously a big thing with takeover is the usual crowds, and performance center plants can only go so far, but I think they did a decent job, better than.
I really liked the crowd. I thought they actually were. It felt like there were some people there. But...
Well, they reacted pretty good to a lot of stuff, but like it's still not like a usual crowd who pays, and you got like a couple thousand people sitting in the seats. It's just how it is. But like at least we got a takeover, because I was thinking I don't even know if we're gonna get any. For the rest of this year. So when they announced this in May, I was very pleasantly surprised. And apparently they still plan on doing a takeover on SummerSlam weekend, despite the fact that both takeover and SummerSlam have been booted from the city of Boston and will not be happening there. So, but both shows are apparently still planned to go ahead come the middle of August, so we'll see what they do. But on the whole, I thought it was a good effort from the NXT brand. I wouldn't say the show was anything great, but it was still very good. I don't think with the way they book and the talent they have, that you could have a bad takeover per se, but it was just a weird takeover. Is that a good way to put it? It was just a weird.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
there were always goods and bads in this show, but
yeah.
It was weird's a good word to describe it.
Yes, that would be how I describe it. So there was it was a lot of playing off of again, this is before my time as a fan, but I know a lot of WWF history. And they're playing off all the people who watched In Your House in the 90s when they were young, and playing up that nostalgia. They were really pushing the nostalgia button a million times. It's like a push. So they did all the old style commercials. They brought out ice cream bars again for the sake of doing an old school style commercial that would have done in the days of the original In Your House shows. They brought back Todd Pettengill to run down the card and introduce the show. And then there was this weird metalcore band that played at the beginning.
Code Orange.
Yeah,
they've done a couple NXT stuff before.
Yeah, they were there. They kind of opened the show. I liked the chorus to the song. The rest of it I didn't care too much for, but but that was that. It was fine. They got to chill with, I guess, the Performance Center peeps and behind the plexiglass. But then we actually got into the opener of the show, which was the 6-woman tag team match. I had the first 3 matches, I guess, they were... I didn't have them in order. It was like this, then it was Balor and Priest, which we'll get to, and then Gargano and Keith Lee. But I pegged the first 3, just I did not peg the order,
I think these orders are very unpredictable.
Yeah, it's hard to do. I don't think I've done one yet where I was accurate. It's hard to do that. It's very hard to do that.
Successfully, you're gonna win the lottery, all right?
No, I'll get a penny for my prediction. Knowing my luck, I'll just get 1 cent for being right. But anyway, it was the team of Mia Yim, Tegan Knox, and Shotzi Blackheart against the devious heel team of Candice LeRae, Dakota Kai, and Raquel Gonzalez. And it's funny just seeing Candice and Dakota teaming up. I could have swore they were having it wasn't a big part of the rivalry, but I'm pretty sure Candice had a few matches with her over the whole War Games turn, and it wasn't all that long ago.
She's so much better as a heel, though. I dig it.
Well, I like her entrance. I like the pixie wings that she comes out with, and
yeah, she just got I feel like she's got the attitude for being a heel.
Yeah,
almost like Britt Baker in AEW.
She's getting it. She's getting it. But when I heard that Candice got signed, I thought she was gonna be a career babyface. So like
the next Bailey of NXT.
Yeah, but it's just weird that it's like everybody who's like seems like they're gonna be a likable babyface gets turned, and it's just like it's like a habit. It's like, is it just because they don't think we think they're gonna go heel, so when they do it, they go, oh, you know, maybe that'll be interesting, just to swerve expectations. You know, I don't mind a good swerve every once in a while, but so. The first couple minutes saw like all of them basically trade tags and get in and showing strengths while hiding weaknesses, and I mean a lot of it was, you know, playing up Mia's rivalry with Candice. They brawled a bit, and then whenever Nox and Kai got in the ring together, they fought a ton, and I could say the action was fast paced, and it never went dull. Like they did a big sprint. I would say everybody had their moments to shine. I mean, not a whole lot of like reasoning for battling, other than like some of the, you know, like psychologically speaking, like Candice going for some big spots as a heel. Like it's like those are like, I mean, I know there are no crowds, but when you see a woman do a high risk move like that, aren't you like compelled to cheer her a bit? Like everybody was flying all over the place. Like, where's the psychology here? But I won't bitch about that too much. But if you guys got a piece about that, do speak now.
Yeah, I think the match was good. I've seen a couple of missed spots. Like there was
there was some sloppy, a couple sloppy moments. Yeah.
But the thing that I think they didn't put in the match was, I mean, I know what happens in probably 95% of all 6-man tags or tag matches, was them all in the ring at the same time and going for their signature, their finishing move.
Oh, the waterfall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that would have added probably more to the match, because it wasn't, and I didn't like how Yim and LeRae left.
So basically Yim and LeRae's rivalry is so much they had to brawl and leave the 6-woman tag match. Then it became a traditional tag for like the last minute.
Yeah, what was stupid about that was they continued it later on in the night, which was, to me, just finish it in the first match.
Yeah, but like
really weird.
But no, it's not
clothes too. It's weird.
Well,
time to change.
I will defend that when we get to it, and I'm not going to defend it in a good way. But like, I mean, they were both very much a part of that rivalry for the North American title, so I think it would have been weird if they didn't show up in that match, despite everything going on. You know, like it would have been weird.
Yeah.
They were both heavily used on each of their significant other side in the lead up to that North American title match, so we'll talk about that. I mean, I didn't think it was necessary, but it didn't bother me. But so yeah, Yim and LeRae brawl and they leave, and then it just becomes a traditional tag between Shotzi and Tegan against Raquel and Dakota. Raquel gets taken out, and then eventually Tegan is able to hit Dakota Kai with the shiniest wizard to get the win. I thought it was a good opener, nothing great, but a fine way to start the show. Could have been better, but like nothing bad. Nothing bad.
No, I didn't think anything bad. I thought it was just a couple of missed spots, and then, like you said, the waterfall wasn't there. And if the spots would have hit, and they would have had that, and I think if Yim and LeRae would have stayed in the match and not left completely, I thought it would have been a lot better.
Yeah, like, I mean, they just did a few things where a couple people did a few dives. I mean, I think most of it also was just so Raquel could throw women around. That was, like, used as, like, a big thing. Just her overpowering everybody. And I like the kind of little exchanges where Tegan, like, tried to out-wrestle her. I thought that was kind of interesting, that Tegan would try to out-grapple this giant woman, but then she got overpowered. So I think, like, a lot of the match was, like, sounded to show like how powerful Gonzalez could be, and I thought they did a good job of that. But like, as far as like, I mean, it also didn't get them a whole lot of time either. I didn't think this match went particularly long. Not that all matches need to go that long, but I think it was also short to the point where it couldn't have like reached anything great. It just didn't have the time to, like, you know how you got to wait for your food to cook, you boil it over, whatever. You build up to, you know, things kind of peaking, and I don't think it ever had the time to reach anything like that. What do you think, Gabe?
I mean, to be honest, Brand just summed it all up for me. It's there's nothing else to say in my opinion. I were to rate it though, it's probably a thumbs in the side.
Yeah, thumbs in the middle for sure. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna give it down because they worked hard, and you know.
Yeah, but not all the way up, because
not all the way up.
but it's okay opener in my opinion.
But like also, I mean, I don't mean this as a knock either, but like as far as like takeover openers go, this is like definitely like way down compared to other ones we've seen in the past.
Definitely
like let's just compare it to I
openers.
don't know, Keith Lee and Dijak from Portland.
Oh, fuck, yeah.
A little bit of a decrease in quality, but I'm not going to waste too much time there. I mean, at least the ladies got booked on a card and they worked hard, and I'll give them that much. After that, we've got Finn Balor against Damian Priest, and as I said, they kind of just built this thing up a few weeks ago. Like as soon as like Priest is done, as soon as Balor like gets in the ring, he kind of like immediately drop kicks Priest, and the Prince goes on control, and he starts stomping him in the corner, and so that's how the match kind of started, but they ended up just kind of slugging a lot of shots back and forth, like they were trading right hands, and then Priest was able to show some agility. I remember about midway through the match, he started doing like these big jumping elbows into like Finn's skull. Well, I mean, not really, but like that's how the move looked. And I thought like he was showing like a lot of athleticism, but he was also like kind of keeping up with Finn from like a work rate perspective. Like they were trading shots and they looked good, and they had a few good counters. Priest is able to throw Balor into I think he posted him at a point to take like get the heat, and It was really good. Like I thought, like the shots were stiff enough that kind of kept me invested, and just like Finn able to like make his comebacks every now and then kept me going. And then when I thought he was about to, like he went for like the 1916 DDT, and Priest was able to counter that. But then when Priest went to go hit his big like Razor's Edge style finish, Finn was able to escape. So each time they kind of they were able to escape each other's finish. I think they actually hit each other's finishers, and they also kicked out of it too. So like when I thought, I mean, I got kind of duped a few times and thinking that the finish was there, and it never came. So they got me a couple times in this match. This is more than I can say for some other matches on the card. So I thought like Priest did a really great job in this match. I think it might be like a kind of a career-defining performance for him. Yeah.
That match. Oh, his back bump to the.
Yeah, I was about to get to that. To that. So earlier in the match, I think it was Priest himself who set up the steps anyway, and he did it to kind of give like Balor a backbreaker. It was just very early on. It was in like the first, I want to say 5-10 minutes. He set up these ring steps. And then the whole match goes on. The steps stay there. They stay there. They stay there. The match goes through. And then Priest gets thrown to the outside. He kind of just hangs on. And then Balor, I believe, drop kicked him off of the apron. And Priest fell. And I'm going to say he hit those steps really hard. He fell and did a flat back bump. He kind of overshot it. He hit the edge of the steps. It looked horrible. Looked like it sucked, and it gave a bad thud, and I thought he was dead. But apparently I think he's all right. I haven't heard about him blowing out his back like Shawn Michaels did in the 90s or Rick Rude did in the 80s. So I think, but it was like a bump like that. It reminded me of both those circumstances when I seen it, and I was just like, But I've heard he's fine. I don't think he got like injured.
He's good.
Yeah.
So
I mean, he got right back up too. So.
Yeah, and then it ended up going to the finish where Finn is able to counter some stuff, and he ended up hitting 2 coup de grace to take the win. I thought that this was very, very good. I thought this
I thought when we predicted it, I said Damian Priest.
Mm-hmm.
Now I know that the way they were going was that they were putting Damian Priest in that match, and it was to see if he actually could keep up with a high-level talent like Finn Balor.
Yep.
And he did keep up with him, I thought.
Yeah, and the thing was, if he didn't, then okay, he's a mid-card guy. He's probably not a world championship kind of guy in the future. But the way he kept up with him, I mean, I think he proved Triple H and everybody in that room that he could potentially one day be in the main event picture.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and it just trading the shots, going for the elbows, dictating the pace, snuffing out Finn's comebacks. Like, I don't think he looked out of place in this match at all against a talent like Balor. I mean, it was like a thing. Like, I'm like, I don't think he'll look bad against Finn, but like, I wonder how he's going to keep up. I think was the question that like a lot of people had, right? And he kept up fine. And I thought You know what? I'm going to stick to this opinion. I thought this was the second best match of the show. I like this.
Really?
Yeah, yes. I thought this is the thing I liked second most, and we'll get to what I like the best as we go on. But I'm thinking that, and again, you guys can agree to disagree, but I think this was done for two reasons. It gave the guys something to do on a takeover, such as this. And now Finn is positioned to maybe go for the main title, but since Priest looks so good against a guy who's going up to challenge for the belt, perhaps Priest gets another shot at Keith Lee, and that's where they go from there. Perhaps, is what...
Yeah, honestly, I know we're going to talk about Keith Lee in a second. I honestly, after what happened at TakeOver, I honestly don't know who's going to... If you were to drop the title in the future, I don't even know who would take it off.
I don't know.
Like, my main thing would be Finn Balor. That's the only guy I could really see taking it off.
Not even Priest? Maybe he gets another shot.
Yeah, the thing is they're gonna really have to do, like a really good storyline for that, because he beat him. He's beat him twice, right? He beat him 1-on-1, and he beat him in the triple threat with Dijakovic. So it's almost like doing like a Charlotte Becky Lynch, Charlotte Asuka. You've seen that already, and Triple H doesn't really go back to things quickly like that unless it's a 1-1 tie in the matches.
Right.
So I can't see that happening again.
Well, I guess again a lot of answers. I hope, but it's so early that it's like nowhere near August, and like this next episode of NXT might not show anything in regards to where the program's going to go throughout the summer.
I don't think we'll see anything like that tonight.
So it might even take a couple weeks, but like I'm just interested. If there is an August takeover, what is being planned for that show? Because like I'm coming out of this show and I'm like, I've got a ton of questions more so than answers.
Well, how about at the end when we review all the shows, we go through it and think, because I have a good card I think already.
Well, we can pitch it once we're done talking about the main event at the end. So, anyway, speaking of Keith Lee, he defended the NXT North American title against Johnny Gargano next, and I loved Gargano's entrance.
Hilarious, amazing, whatever.
So,
and then,
yeah. So basically, they ran the video package highlighting the build-up to this match, which has Johnny at his own house, by the way. It's like a lot of the promos he's been doing with Candice from the Gargano home. So that's where this promo package ends. But then Gargano himself is in his gear for the last shot of it. And then we realize that it's the end of this promo package that's actually his entrance. Because he gets up, he walks through the house, he sees Doc Hendricks, a.k.a. Michael Hayes, is in his old interview days when he first went to the WWF, and he kind of gives him like a wink and a nod, and then
that seemed odd for Gargano.
Yeah,
I mean, I laughed, but I just think that it's kind of weird for him to just.
Yeah, it's just because
Doc
like,
Hendricks.
Well, it was just because like he was an interviewer in the days of In Your House, the backstage interview.
I got that. But I just think it's kind of irrelevant for him to just have a picture of Doc in his house.
It was just an Easter egg that just was like, oh, who's gonna notice this? That's all it was.
Money in the Bank match, I guess.
Yeah. So anyway, he ends up going to the door, and he goes out, and then he's on the set by coming out of this door from this house, and then he locks up the door, locks the door to his house, puts the key in his trunks, and makes his entrance from, of course, the In Your House set, which did look awesome, by the way. That was a cool set.
Yeah,
I should have meant
one of my favorite sets.
It's like it was, so it was so cool looking. And then he goes into the ring, and then Keith Lee comes out, and of course they have their match. And you know what? I thought this was pretty good too, because Gargano had to find a way to neutralize the much bigger and more powerful Keith Lee. And he did so by, I guess, becoming Pete Dunne for a night.
I was wondering, I guess fingers will stop Keith Lee, but I don't know. It's weird that Keith Lee kept going back to, punching. Like, Keith, your fingers are injured. I wouldn't punch if I were you. And he still went to the well of punching when he shouldn't, but I guess.
Yeah, I thought in the match, too, they went to Keith Lee being more of a a Braun Strowman, Brock Lesnar type of character instead of the way he's been portrayed, where he's, high-flying as well. Like, we didn't see him use that high-flying tactic in the match. He was just more of a a powerful beast that Gargano was trying to chop down.
I think
the most we saw him fly was a spinning back kick at the earliest part of the match, and that's it.
Yeah, they did like he leapfrogged Gargano right at the beginning too. Like he leapfrogged him and did a few of that stuff at the beginning. But like as far as that, it was Gargano going for submissions and Keith Lee powering out of them. And then he would work the digits or work the hand and then get another submission on. Then Keith Lee would power out of it, and it was like this back and forth that way. It was like the story of the crafty heel grappler trying to take out the limbs of the much bigger opponent. So since that was the story, I guess they figured Keith didn't need to fly around the ring.
Now I didn't get why Johnny had to flee back to his house, and then the dumb part.
That was stupid. I didn't like that either.
The door when the key was in his trunks, like. He kissed it and then put it in his trunks before he entered the ring.
During his entrance. Yeah. And then he gets to the house when he hightails it because this went on for like Keith Lee dominated him for a lot, and then Johnny basically said screw it. He went to the house, and then it's showing like a door cam.
Oh, like
it's
ring,
like it's like
a doorbell camera.
It's like doorbell camera, and Johnny's just like fumbling with this locked door. I guess he forgot that he locked it with a key on his way to compete.
At the end of the match, but...
Yeah, well, we'll get to that too. And so he's just fumbling with this doorknob. Keith Lee slowly trots to where Johnny is, and then Johnny's like, "Oh, he's behind me!" And he beats him up in front of the house and throws him back into the ring, and they keep going. They do some more stuff, and you know what? I was not expecting this. Keith Lee eventually pounces Johnny through the plexiglass and breaks the divider between the potentially sick and the performers. I didn't think anybody would be going through that end of the barricade, considering why it's there for, but they did it. And
I would have liked if they put him through the door. Like if he would have speared him, or Johnny Gargano would have ran at him and Keith Lee would have just picked him up and ran him through the door. I thought that would have been a better spot than the plexiglass.
I like the plexiglass because I really did not expect anything through that. So when I seen the guy get pounced through it, I found it quite surprising. But that's just me. And so Johnny's dead, and Keith carries him back to the ring to assumedly just finish the match. And then Candice LeRae comes out for the distraction with her new clothes, and then Mia Yim comes out to equal her out, and again, they're both in different gear or whatever.
Yeah.
And
so did they like stop fighting to just like?
Yeah,
I guess maybe they gave each other a timeout and then just said let's change first, and then we'll
that's the weird part of it. They should have just stayed in their gear, and it looked really weird when they came out, like really weird.
I mean, they could have waited a couple like minutes, or
and
it was just the other match after them, right?
Yeah,
like,
and
they have to wait for Finn Balor.
Yeah, and Candice LeRae came out when they were outside of the ring. I would have waited and then distracted the referee, and then Gargano do the key thing. Like he got distracted from Mia Yim beating down Candice LeRae. Like it was weird.
Yeah, he did get distracted by that, and Johnny raked his eyes with a key, bastard heel. And then Johnny gets him into the... but you know what? Johnny ends up, like, before that, he caught Keith Lee with, like, a crazy diving DDT, like, running DDT. I think that was before all the interference and all that. He caught him with that, and then he also caught him with one final beat after raking his eyes, and Keith was able to kick out. And then they did some more stuff. Johnny tried to out-grapple him, but, you know, Keith Lee is very big. So he caught him with a spirit bomb, and he picked him up and gave him another power bomb. Then he lifted him up for seemingly another power bomb, then a clean-ass transition into his Big Bang catastrophe, and he pinned Johnny to retain the North American title. Actually, going back and revisiting this match in my head, this was, I would say, every bit as good as, I guess, the Balor and Priest match from an in-ring perspective. The only thing that was maybe a little disappointing about it was just how grounded Keith Lee was, but I'm going to defend it and say for the story of the match, with what Johnny needed to do, keeping Keith Lee as a grounded powerhouse made the story a little more better, or made more sense for that to be the psychology with how it's worked. Like,
but my main issue is that this is what makes Johnny like the dumbest out of all of his performances, like the key stuff, and then losing to just seeing two girls fight outside. Like,
well, did you see the key stuff too?
But like he lost well after they were in the back, though. Keith Lee still overcame that interference.
Oh yeah, of course.
You know?
It's just that I don't know. He could have.
Johnny didn't lose because the women came out.
Yeah,
Oh
but
yeah,
did
it
you
just added to like how dumb he looked. Like
did you guys see the key thing though? He keyed him in the wrong eye. So the eye he's been working on.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Well,
the announcer said that. They're like, oh, he keyed him in the other eye, so now he has two
Well,
bad eyes.
well, yeah, but wouldn't that make sense though? Like, I mean, a key
No,
to any eye is gonna hurt. You're gonna sell that no matter what eye it goes in.
Yeah, but I mean, the whole match they were putting over his hand and that one eye.
Mm-hmm.
It's just kind of weird that they worked the eye too. But look at Rey Mysterio; he's like dying that time. When Seth Rollins did in his eyes, so Keith Lee is like what 10 times more powerful than Rey because of and that was a key too. So I think it's more sharp.
But the thing is, the announcers, the whole like Ronaldo and Tom Phillips were like, oh, that eye, he's got something wrong with his eye. He went to the doctors, he can't see through it. But then he does the other eye with the key. I thought if he keyed the one that's been bothering him, it would have made more sense. And then once he overcame Johnny Gargano, it would have been like, okay, you know.
Yeah. So again, I forgot to give a thumb for Balor and Priest, which would get one thumb up from me.
I give one.
A solid one thumb up.
Yeah, I give a thumb up. Yeah, for that.
So, and then for this one, I also give, I guess, a thumb to a thumb plus thumb in the middle. So, like, I give it like a one thumb up, if not thumb to the side. Because now that I think about it, maybe this was my second favorite match of the night. It's hard. It's hard. I thought both of these are both very similar in quality, both the Balor and Priest and this North American title match. I mean, maybe they tie. Maybe I like this a little more now that I've gone back and looked over it. But I could both say they were either very good to just borderline great. So like if I were to do a star rating thing, it'd be like maybe 3 3/4 to 4 for both of those matches at most. Mm-hmm. But like to me, that's like at least like a solid one thumb up for each of them, if not solid thumb and a half for both. So if you want to tie them out, I thought they were both of very similar quality, but I don't know about you guys. That's just my opinion.
I'm not gonna lie. Once I saw Keith Lee enter with the Black Lives Matter trunks, I was like, oh shoot, I lost this prediction because they're not gonna make Keith Lee like lose with such a powerful political statement, you know. So.
No, I didn't think he was losing even without that on his trunks. So
hey,
you know,
my most confident pick was Adam Cole, and Gabe made me change it. So
I made you change it. Gabe didn't.
Oh yeah, you made.
Gabe made that prediction that Cole would retain, and you were with him, and then I swindled you into going on my side.
Yeah,
I was wrong.
Was my most confident prediction too.
Yeah, I know. I was confident in mine too, and I was wrong. But speaking of which, unfortunately, we have to go to the Backlot Brawl.
Yes.
You know, I was so proud of predicting this match, right? But other than that, this match was...
This was not very good. So, the only thing that I liked that I popped for was Velveteen showing up dressed as Negan from The Walking Dead.
That's the only thing great about this match.
Yeah, that was the only thing that was good. So, on top of it, it's shot weird, and the amount of camera cuts was... Everybody's been bitching about it, but they were horrible. There was a whole bunch of needless... I couldn't even believe the same crew that put the Boneyard match together put this fucking thing together. It's like, how?
This is my thing, right? So they got really successful and good reviews on the Boneyard match. So my thing is now is WWE thinks, oh, you know what? Since we're in a pandemic and we don't want to put everything in the ring and we want to keep the fans' attention home, the Boneyard match did well. Let's do this. They put two guys in the ring, or two guys in a backlot brawl, who are fantastic in the ring and probably could have delivered a 5-star match. And that have no reason being that kind of match. Like even Tom Phillips said the last Backlot Brawl match was William Regal and Finlay. Like two guys that are good.
Well, I don't mind these. I just don't think they should be for a title belt. Like, why defend a championship in a cinematic environment? That should not ever be the case.
But that's my thing. Like, Adam Cole and Velveteen Dream should never be in that match unless it's on NXT TV. That should not be a pay-per-view match. They should have had that match in the ring. If you're going to do, like, a Backlot Brawl in the future, put somebody crazy like Dexter Loomis.
And have it not be for a title. Have it not be for a belt. Like, this should not have been for a championship. Like, how am I going to get into this as a championship match? Like,
the only good thing was the finish.
That's it. Yeah, we'll get to that too. Because I got a lot to say about that.
And the other thing I didn't like was the referee going, "Yeah, you can fight all over, but it has to end in the ring." All right, well, then why didn't you just start the match in the ring and call it a no DQ match?
So
That was my thing,
they
yeah.
brawl into cars. They do this. They go into some like fake shops that are set up there, and Adam Cole attacks Velveteen from behind because Velveteen's just going, "Where'd you go, Cole? Where'd you go?" And he was hiding in like this door that on it seems like a plaza of fake shops, and Cole jumps out and attacks him from behind. They fight more, and then all of a sudden they pull out a ladder and they climb it. Velveteen knocks Cole off the ladder, and he falls on the windshield of a car, and his arm's all busted up. And then all of a sudden, a car pulls up, and of course you just know it's the Undisputed Era. And lo and behold, Bobby Fish and Roderick Strong come out, and they I guess give the advantage to Cole, and they throw about 1 million chairs in the ring, and they beat down Velveteen, and Cole's telling them, shouting orders, and as they're doing this, Dexter Lumis, again, shows up. I don't know what his deal is with Roddy and Bobby Fish.
Yeah,
but
that's never been explained.
It's never been explained. He just shows up and eliminates their presence for whatever reason.
No, he was like that on Impact as well. He was a freak.
Well, he was more towards like that towards Christy Hemme. So
Yeah.
I felt more like, I don't know, it made more sense, I guess. 'Cause he is,
Yeah,
he's like
honestly, they're going in the way of like, I'm not saying be a Bray Wyatt or anything, but he's like Bray Wyatt, like boogeyman in the middle. Like they're trying to make him like a scary, weird.
Are you like he's gonna spook the heels? He's gonna be a spooky baby face? Okay,
Yeah.
well.
That's just.
But he's also gonna be that guy where, in a match, like let's say if they ever do have a parking lot brawl again or whatever it is, and they hit him with a chair, he's probably gonna be that kind of guy where he's gonna laugh at you. Like that didn't hurt me.
Didn't he like kidnap the UE?
Yeah, he did. I was about to get to that. So he beats up 2 guys on 1. So that's actually pretty impressive. Dexter takes out both of them by himself. He stuffs them in the back of his car, and then or their car that he stole. I can't remember what the details were. It was either one or the other. And he drives off with them in the back seat. So Dexter Lumis, has anybody said look out for this guy? Is Dexter Lumis wanted for kidnap? Have they found Bobby Fish and Roderick Strong yet?
Well,
have they?
Crimes on WWE, it's okay. Like,
oh yes, it's okay. It's okay to kidnap. It's okay to do this.
Yeah, well, supposedly tonight, Dexter Lumis is going to get Roderick Strong, so he must have kidnapped him and brought him back to the full.
Really? They changed that match? I thought he was taking on Adam Cole in a match tonight.
Oh, sorry, Adam Cole.
Yeah. But he never kidnapped Cole.
Yeah, well, we'll see if he's there tonight, but...
Maybe he'll kidnap him tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
And drive him off in a car.
I'm starting to think that in your contract in WWE, you get a privilege to commit whatever crime, I guess.
Yeah, you just get away with it, and it's never mentioned again either. That's good. So people see it happen, they question, how the fuck is that legal? And then they just drop it like it never happened, and then the storylines just go on.
Can, try to commit murder,
Yeah, he threw 2 people off a building, one right after the other. And then but you know what's funny about that? I'm going to bring it up before we go on. But Rey Mysterio's eye injury was treated way more seriously than him getting thrown off a building. Wow.
Yeah, that's true.
Wow. Seth was more devious for eyeball destroying than Baron Corbin was for tossing poor Rey Mysterio off a building. But anyway, so this keeps them going, and they battle some more, and they fight in the ring, and it's whatever, and the camera cuts are annoying, and it's just, I thought it was very poorly put together, but it had one good silver lining. That is that Adam Cole is able to hit his flip pile driver, his Panama Sunrise, on a giant pile of chairs to win.
So that's what it takes, just a pile of chairs for a
yes,
pile of
that makes it 1,000,000 times more deadly. Good to know. So I hope people put chairs in the ring when they go to hit that move now, because that means it'll end a fucking match. So that would get an extra star if I cared, because that move has just been so fucking overused and made to be unimportant that I don't like that. So the fact that it actually fucking won a match, I liked. But that was the only thing I liked.
Didn't Adam Cole get take a bump on a window of a car?
I mentioned that he got knocked off the ladder and fell on the windshield.
Nasty.
And his arm got
actual glass.
He legit looked hurt.
It had to be gig. It had to be gig. That couldn't have possibly been real.
Well, it made me believe.
Yeah, because his arm started bleeding right away. And I was
Yeah, but
it was.
yeah, but you guys are watching a cinematic piece. I mean, they
Yeah,
could
that's what I was
have
starting to-
gigged the arm to bleed and put the blood there, and that could have been sugar glass on the car where it cracks and looks real but isn't, and it's soft to take. And I guarantee he didn't fall on a real windshield. I can guarantee that. He's competing on television tonight on a match that you would have taped Monday. You know, well, this was apparently taped quite a bit ahead of time, like over a week before Takeover, a week and a half beforehand. It was taped at the end of May. But yeah, Adam Cole, to my surprise, in more ways than one, hits a flip pile driver on a giant massive pile of chairs to win the Backlot Brawl, and he killed Velveteen's last chance against him. And now, the stipulation being, as long as Adam Cole keeps that belt, Velveteen can never get another shot at it. So he's out of the title picture. Tommaso Ciampa, out of the title picture. Gargano, well out of the title picture. Who is next for Cole? I can't think of anybody but Finn Balor.
Oh,
that makes sense.
No. TikTok.
I was about to say that too. Maybe
TikTok.
Yeah.
The way they put him over on Sunday night, I mean, he dismantled Tommaso Ciampa. Who else are you gonna face?
Well, let's finish up, I guess, Adam Cole real quick and Velveteen.
Oh, yes. You guys can give your opinion on the whole...
I thought it was a terrible match.
Yes, it wasn't very good.
I think
those two guys should never be in a Backlot Brawl ever again.
Yeah, but this just goes to show you that whatever cinematic experience that wrestling is there to provide, it's not always going to end up well. Like, this is like one of the sour apples that can...
I think it's just like it was like one cinematic thing too many. I think it's just like it's overdone now. You're oversaturating it, and on top of it being oversaturated, this one was not well put together. So that
it wasn't well put together. It wasn't even needed. Like this didn't call for it. Like
and it was a championship bout.
It was a championship match too, which
made it worse. So that had like 3 things against it, and I had faith that it would be. I was like, they did the Boneyard match. They'll probably put together something that's decent, and they didn't. And to me, this is a
snooze. Like I was sleepy when I was watching it too. 15 minutes of just bad cuts, and
it's like it's like taking it's like taking a forward in hockey and putting him in nets for a night. You can't do that. That's how those guys were so out of place in that match.
Yes, they did their best, but they were in an environment that was set up to make them fail. Like you can't make that work. Yeah. Like cars and fake buildings.
Yeah.
And...
To me, they should have just had it in the ring, did a no DQ match, had Loomis come out, had the UE come out, and then have a bunch of weapons in the ring, but you can still do crazy spots like Adam Cole and Velveteen Dream can do in that ring, and it would have been a lot better than what they had.
Yes, this was bad. I give it a thumbs down.
Yeah. Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah, just a thumbs down. I mean, of course, there's some light, but not enough to save this match.
Yeah. The only thing that keeps it from getting 2 is the fact that Velveteen looked like Negan, and the fact that a flip pile driver finished a match. So that's it. So that prevents it from getting 2, but definite solid thumbs down. I thought it was the worst thing on the show by far.
And also, another good thing about it doesn't make them look weak at all. It's just a bad match. And it's not their fault.
And considering where it was in the show, people are going to completely forget about it, which is unfortunate because it was Velveteen's last.
About it.
But what I mean is like it was Velveteen's last shot at Cole while he's champion. So like people should
been a big deal too.
People should remember that he failed on his last chance, but people are just going to forget about it, and Velveteen's going to. I don't know what he's going to move on to now that he's out of the title picture.
I think he's on Raw within a couple of weeks.
Oh, I think they're going to call him up.
That's the rumor right now.
Yeah, well, you know what? That's the only thing I can see him doing. Because if they're not going to give him a run with the belt, there's literally nothing for him to do now. Like,
no,
zero.
I think he's a Vince project, like he's like Roman Reigns a few years ago. When Vince was high on him, I think he's going to be like that.
I hope he does that, because if Vince is high on you like that, like The Rock or Roman, you usually get a pretty good push. So
yeah, I definitely think he can be big. I remember there were some 2K commercials, and he would be one of the only NXT stars in those 2K commercials.
Well, not to mention he's got an unbelievable natural charisma that like very few people on that roster. Even
John Cena called him out on Twitter, like he's like one of the people he would love to work with, and he thinks that Velveteen's one of the best talents there are. So.
Yeah, he thinks he's one of the best talents because he's a good promo guy, which we know there's very few of. that are like to that level in this in actually all of wrestling as a whole. There are very few people that with that level of charisma and promo ability. And then he's athletic enough that his if he's in there with somebody like that's somewhat good, and he can have good matches too. So it's not like he's a pure promo guy. Like he can work in the ring as well. So like I've made comparisons to The Rock. I don't think like he's exactly at The Rock's level of like charisma and promo ability, but like his strengths are similar, I would say.
I would say so. Yeah.
So maybe that's it. Maybe Velveteen's going to Raw because I can't see him doing anything else on the NXT brand now that he's out of the title picture. And if he ain't gonna have a run with it, then what do you do with him? I guess you got to call him up.
Yeah.
And and then Cole, I guess is gonna be reigning throughout the summer at this point, unless I take. Right, like I take it.
Is he gonna resign? Like I really don't know. Man.
So I read a bunch of articles after the event on Sunday, and supposedly he signed a 3-year deal last summer when he still had a 1-year deal left.
So he's still with NXT?
Yeah, so he signed a 3-year deal. They said late summer, early fall.
Last year.
His contract is not up till 2022, end of summer.
Okay, so he's still there for like 2 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, then who knows how long he's holding that belt for.
Well, to me, I honestly think as we go into the match, I think his reign ends against Cross, and I don't think it's going to be Cole lost the title. I think he's going to lose to a guy that is going to probably be put over very strong, and it's not going to affect Cole that much.
Well, no, because like I don't think what happened here with Ciampa affected him all that much either. So we'll get into that now, actually. So we might as well segue into it. So in the co-main spot, the penultimate position, we had Tommaso Ciampa against Karrion Kross, and I don't know, with the way this was booked and the way Kross came out, I think he's going to be a main eventer soon. I guess. Oh my gosh, like what an entrance.
Your first match is a co-main event.
Yeah, your first match is a co-main against one of the staples that's been around forever in NXT, and is just coming off a championship feud with Cole, and then a feud-ending co-main feud with Gargano, and now you're getting put with him, the Cross that is, getting put with Ciampa after all that. So Ciampa's had a pretty big start to 2020 before he got put in Cross's crossfire, we'll say.
Yeah.
So this is a big deal. And so they come out, and Ciampa, he comes out, and they have this match, and Kross just dominates him. Suplexes him everywhere. Ciampa tries to make a comeback. It's snuffed out immediately. And it's just suplex after suplex. I was getting Brock Lesnar vibes immediately with the way this was booked and put together. Kross just dominates. He hits a big neck breaker. There was a spot, speaking of the neck, there was a spot where he actually, like, it looked like a powerbomb on Ciampa on the apron, neck first, like, cringed. Ciampa's just dying. He's getting destroyed. And then he makes this brief little comeback. He starts, firing rights and lefts, and I think he hits the Willow's Bell is the name of that draping DDT that he's been doing. And then Kross just kind of like pops up and overpowers him and gets him in a submission and makes Ciampa pass out. And I don't think this even went 10 minutes. I think this was like an under
match in the card, 6 minutes. And
it was 6 minutes, eh? So it was under 10 minutes. I knew it went quick. And I've never seen such a dominant debut in NXT before. Maybe like, no, because like even if you were to count Baron Corbin from years ago, he squashed like, I don't know, some nobodies in like 10 seconds with the end of days.
Yeah, just nobody.
Yeah, so like those were quick, but they weren't against they weren't against anybody that was like name value. Whereas Tommaso Ciampa, very much a big main eventer in NXT, and he put over a Karrion Kross about as strong as you could probably put over a new talent.
Yeah, that's why I think he's next for a title. You just had Tommaso Ciampa face Adam Cole and lost the title match, but he was just in a title match, and you beat a guy in 6 minutes who was just in a championship match a few months back.
Yeah, and returned from neck surgery after having a very memorable reign with that belt too. So it's like,
to me is you just fought the number one contender, let's say, beforehand, and you beat him in 6 minutes. Anything else that he would do going forward would honestly be a little downslide.
You know, I think Ciampa, like, he's in good shape and all that, but like I felt he looked kind of small compared to Cross.
My goodness.
God.
Like, didn't Cross look like a monster compared to him in some spots?
Tommaso.
Like, and I think Ciampa's a pretty well built dude. Okay, like he's pretty cut, but like physically, this Cross is like physically imposing. Like he looked dangerous. He looked like he did destroy Ciampa in every bit, and you don't see matches like that too much. This is 100% story based. It was 100% done. What we all assumed it was to do is to make Cross look as dangerous and as scary as possible going forward. Like, after he just squashes Ciampa, you go, who's going to beat this guy? That's your question after the match happened, and that's what everybody said. So for that, it may not have went long, but for what was there was absolutely great. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's too short to be considered a show stealer, but the booking was perfect. So for that, it gets a solid thumbs up from me. Two thumbs up for the booking, thumbs up, one thumb up for the ring work.
Yeah, I give that my second, or maybe tied for first, but second best match of the night for me.
Because, like, even though it didn't go long, the ring work was still fantastic for what was there.
Yeah, my favorite part in that match was Ciampa was hitting him with everything, and then he punched himself and said, "Hit me," and it was like, oh my god.
He was actually like asking Ciampa to hit him harder throughout the whole match.
And I thought
when Ciampa did it, Cross just kind of blinked and like shrugged it off like Frankenstein or something. It was crazy. So, what do you think, Gabe?
This said so much with so little like needed. So it's just monumental how much they're putting into the Karrion Kross character. They're all for him, and this match just makes him look stronger than ever.
Stronger than ever is an understatement.
And you know what the funny thing is, when he was in Impact, he was immediately put into the main event picture. Never had a championship match, and he was there for 6 months.
Yep. So
that's not going to happen in NXT.
No, he's definitely gonna get a shot.
But like, he literally came in first night in Impact. I remember because it was big on YouTube, so I caught the.
Oh, I saw it too. He took down Petey Williams.
Yeah. And then he was slotted into the main event picture. He was attacking everybody. He was putting the cards on everybody. Like, it was like a card, and then it was like
a calling card. Yeah.
And they had him over big. Just that was the reason he left Impact, because they had him in the main event picture, and they never gave him a title shot.
Yeah. So if I were to rate this, I give it I want to say a thumb and a half. This was definitely an enjoyable match, it was the quickest match too, but it said so much
with so little.
With so little. So
because sometimes in wrestling, I know this is hard to believe, boys, but sometimes less is more. That's a forgotten thing these days.
I've heard.
It's So this is like you couldn't have put over Karrion any stronger. Like, there was no way you could put him over any stronger than that. Like, again, Ciampa had one offensive flurry the whole match. When he got the DDT and fired off a couple signature moves, and then Cross kind of shook them off and then proceeded to kill him with a submission. So, that's that. And I guess, obviously Cross is going to be on the next TakeOver card. What he does is, again, Brandon's convinced he's going to get a title shot right away.
I think so. It has to be.
So
I wonder what's next for him. Like, is he going to be on NXT tonight?
He might be. I can't imagine him not being on the show tonight.
I'm just wondering what is he going to do? Like, I don't think another squash match will be needed. Like,
he don't really need one, no.
Well, maybe he'll, I don't know, maybe UE comes out and attacks Dexter Lumis, and that match never finishes, and then he interrupts.
Yeah, they could set it, but it'd be early to set that up. But
Yeah.
But NXT does, more so than the main roster, or Raw and SmackDown, they do long-term bookings. So if they want to set that up like 2 months in advance, they could do it if they want. So we can talk about the potential future of that card after we're done the review. So we're going to go for the penultimate to the main event, which was rightfully so the main event. Charlotte Flair defending the NXT Women's title against both Rhea Ripley and Io Shirai. I thought this was completely action-packed. There was never a dull moment. There was Rhea and Charlotte traded shots. Io was flying all over the place, and You know, I thought Charlotte and Rhea did really well in this match, but Io's just on another level. Like, I mean, I think she kind of showed up both of them in this performance.
Yeah.
Like it was the Io Shirai show, and Charlotte and Rhea were just there. But you know what?
Yeah.
They still did their spots. They still did their plays. I thought all the action was very, very fun. I never got bored in this match, unlike what I could say with the Backlot Brawl and pretty much just the Backlot Brawl. That was the only real bad thing on the show. Yeah. But this match, I don't think ever had a dull moment. Charlotte chopping everybody, her and Rhea trading shots. They all brawl. The missile drop kick. Io Shirai's got like the best missile drop kick ever.
Oh my god!
She almost killed Rhea. Let's talk about poor Rhea Ripley for a second here. So Rhea, I don't know, she just had a bad night. Like, Charlotte's shots were like stiff, and she's taking all of them. Io kills her with like the stiffest drop kick you've ever seen. Charlotte's potatoing her all night, and then she has to take the finish, which we'll get to, but it landed right on her head. I think she Rhea died 3 times over in this match for everybody. So let's take it. I think so. I haven't heard, again, like with Priest, I haven't heard that she got hurt or was going to be missing any time.
Yeah, but they weren't even in the. They were kind of slotted over a bit. So if they would have moved a little bit more into the middle of the ring, it would have been probably
okay. Yeah, but like poor Rhea just died 3 times in this match for us. Yeah. So anyway, there comes a point where Charlotte and Rhea have like this big brawl up the entrance ramp onto the grass area of like the In Your House set. And we'd seen that Io got like tossed through the LED board earlier by Charlotte, and then Rhea ended up joining for the brawl with Charlotte after Io was tossed through the little LED board. So we kind of forgot about her for a couple minutes. So Charlotte and Rhea are brawling towards like the front of the set, and there we see Io on top of the roof of the house of the set. And she does this massive giant crossbody, taking out both women, and she fires up, and they all get back into the ring, and I believe Charlotte ended up taking out a kendo stick, and she started whacking everybody with it, and including Rhea, who I think took a shot to the face. Poor Rhea. She just died so many times in this match. And then it ended up coming to the point where Io got neutralized, and she got taken out again. And then it came down to Charlotte and Rhea. But before that, I'm also going to bring up that they did a callback to when Rhea won the NXT Women's title. They had her set up for the Riptide on Charlotte on the top rope, and she hits the top rope Riptide, but it is Io who broke that up and cost her from regaining the NXT Women's title. So Rhea ends up taking out Io, and it leads to a finishing sequence with Rhea and Charlotte. And Charlotte is indeed able to lock Rhea Ripley in the figure 8, but in doing this, Io Shirai comes off the top with a moonsault. Her knees crush poor Rhea Ripley's skull, and she pins Rhea while Charlotte's trying to get out of the submission to win the NXT Women's title. I thought this was great, and I thought for sure it was the best match of the show, in my opinion. I agree with that. So, but I have an issue, and I'm going to complain and bitch about it now. So, Charlotte's reign did nothing for nobody.
No one.
Yeah, I told you that when it started, when she beat her at WrestleMania. Actually, on our WrestleMania predictions, I said if she wins the title, this is a waste of time.
But like, why couldn't she get pinned? Why couldn't she get hit with the moonsault?
I love Charlotte. She's great, but she has too much privilege in the WWE.
She does. Like I couldn't even believe. Okay, so you have to have her beat Rhea, which kind of stalls her momentum because now you just drop the title to her. So now she holds it, beats everybody on NXT television, and doesn't even get pinned to lose it. What?
Yeah. And what happens the next night? She goes out and pins Asuka on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, well, Nia cost Asuka that match.
But still, she pinned the champion, right?
Yeah, because she's going to get back in the Raw title picture and blah, 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 blah. But what I mean is, like you couldn't even have Charlotte take the pin to drop the belt. So she wins it, kills poor Rhea Ripley's momentum. Rhea never gets her comeuppance on Charlotte and is used to be the fall person for Io to win the belt. Mm-hmm. Like, it did nothing for nobody. Rhea Ripley is now suffering big time for it. Her momentum is dead in the water. I don't know what there is for her now. And Charlotte just gets to fucking beat all the NXT women, hold the belt for a while, and then not even properly drop it, so she completely loses nothing but benefited nobody. I hated that.
The best part is that me and Brayden kind of predicted this finish too, so.
Well, the finish was fine.
Yeah.
I just I wouldn't have done it in the figure 8. I would have had her just do a traditional figure 4 like her dad, and Io hits Charlotte with the moonsault and pins the champ.
I mean, if it was my choice, if I was booking, hell yeah, that's definitely what I would have chosen.
That's what it should have happened if she's gonna drop the belt.
I knew for sure that it was gonna happen to Rhea because they always protect Charlotte some way, somehow, for some reason.
But, like, she did nothing to look bad or look like she got defeated. Like, it's like she went there and fucked around and just said, I'm too good for this, I'm going back to Raw, and benefited none of the women and made them all look like shit in comparison.
Well, sadly, her moniker of being the queen is true in WWE. It's just horrible. Like, she needs to lose more often, but she just has so much privilege in the damn company.
Like, I'm so proud for Io. Like, I'm very glad they gave her the belt. But, like, I can't help but, like, feel like Rhea Ripley's career just got fucked because of Charlotte.
Well, I think she's off the SmackDown, and I think she's the one that's going to take it from Bayley.
Well, then that would be the way to rehab her.
Yep.
Because, right now, on NXT, I figure she's dead in the water.
Well, and there's been rumors going around that everybody's complaining about the SmackDown Women's Division, that they don't want to do Bayley and Sasha again. Who's Bayley going to lose it to? Lacey Evans. She's already done Lacey Evans times. So it's like they're stale in the women's division. So I think Rhea would add a whole new thing to it.
I don't want her on the same brand as Charlotte, so do send her to SmackDown, please.
Yeah, and Charlotte's obviously.
Charlotte's staying on Raw. You know that's going to happen. Yeah. She's staying on Raw. She's going to feud with Asuka, and too much to the dismay of all of us, she's going to beat Asuka for the Raw belt, kill her momentum, and it's going to be rinse, repeat, over, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
I like Charlotte as a worker. I'm not shitting on her as a wrestler. I think she's very good. However,
I think the scary part of Charlotte is that she brings in the ratings.
No, she doesn't. She doesn't. She doesn't move the needle all that much. There was no proof or evidence that she drew at all when she was on NXT television. Zero.
Oh, I'm sorry, not NXT. Like, when it's on Raw or SmackDown. On NXT, of course, they didn't really help out. But on Raw and SmackDown...
But they figured that she was going to move the needle, and she never did, so her going there meant nothing, and it proved nothing, and it killed careers. So it's
that was weird for some reason. I don't know why that didn't happen, but I know for sure when she was back on Raw, that definitely helped out ratings.
Yeah, well, I just figure that she could, like, give back to some, up-and-coming talent once in a while. Like
that's what we all wanted.
Fucking people lost to you to make you look good and put you in the position you're at. Why can't you return the favor? Like, my fuck. Like, I was so pissed she didn't take the pin on Sunday.
Do you think that's her thing that she won't take pins, or do you think someone in the back is saying no?
I think it might be, like, a mix of both, to be honest. I think she wants to be protected and wants to be, like, seen as the best female wrestler in the world and be like her dad, which, you need some people who want to politic and be on top like that, because it can't just be a passive locker room all the time. However, it's come to the point where there's been so many years in a row where it's like selfish at this point, right? Like, it's selfish. It's 100% selfish. But booking is part of that too. Like, if Vince wanted her to lose properly, he would do it. But I guess he thinks like keeping her as pinned or submitted as little as possible. The only person she really put over was Becky Lynch at Evolution that I can remember.
Yeah,
that's like the only person I could really say she put over.
One of the horsewoman buddies of hers, so it's sad.
But that's what.
And on top of that, it was a last man standing match, so she just had to lay there. She never got pinned.
Yeah.
So, like, when was the last time you remembered her pinning or submitting to somebody and it was a big win for the other person? When can you remember her doing that? I can't even remember. I actually don't remember. That's sad. You should be able to remember that.
And anybody, if they want to build a women's division and make it a bigger evolution than it already is, anybody that pins Charlotte is going to get.
Oh my God. Yo, even Ronda Rousey took the pin instead of Charlotte. I just remembered that in the triple threat for WrestleMania.
Yep.
Yeah, well, that was a fluke pin, but she did take it. And let's also remember that when Ronda faced Charlotte at Survivor Series, when Charlotte had to fill in for Becky, they couldn't even have her tap to Ronda. They had her get purposely disqualified, so it protected both women. Ronda couldn't even beat Charlotte properly. So, fuck, I think anybody else is just fucked at this point. Like, nobody's beating her. So anyway, rant over. I was pissed she didn't take the pin, and she benefited nobody by going to NXT, and she fucked over Rhea Ripley. But the match was still great, and I give it 2 thumbs up, and I thought it was the best match of the show. And I'm very glad to be wrong, and Io actually won the belt, even though...
Yeah, I think the result of Io is what's making me want to give it 2 thumbs up, because it just made me, like, smile, like, so much. The result really does...
But you can't say this match was boring. There was never a dull moment in it either.
No, it was never boring. It was probably the most exciting match.
It was the exact opposite of the Backlot Brawl.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that the Backlot Brawl was in the middle of the show, the most forgettable position of the whole night, and then this was in the main event. That was smart.
They realized how bad it was.
Yeah, they had to have realized that that cinematic disaster was not the Boneyard match, and thought, we can't have this close the show. And thank God it didn't, or else we'd be probably having like much worse opinions on this show if that was like the ending note of the match. But you know what? At that point, when that was in the middle of the show and Cole retained, I'm like, Io's got to be winning to send everybody home happy. Like, for the viewers at home, they all want Io to win because they don't expect her to and they want her to. And they feel this is her last shot. So, like, they got to put the belt on her tonight. Yeah. And they did, but they did it in the way that fucking fucked over Rhea more. And Charlotte ends up coming out unscathed without putting anybody over. So that just frustrated me, seeing that. Because, I mean, fuck, you got to give back some time, for fuck's sake.
Who do you guys think is next for Io Shirai?
Oh, I don't know. That's a good question. Bianca's on Raw now. Charlotte's going back to Raw. Rhea might be going to SmackDown, because unless they do Rhea and Io going forward, but that's babyface versus...
She just took the pin, though. That's my thing.
Yeah, I know. So how do you defend against that, right? Like, you got pinned.
My thing is, I think it's going to be Yim and Candice LeRae in a triple threat again.
Yeah, here's what I'm thinking. Maybe they're just gonna build Io up more with the other women. Like, they're not as powerful ones, like I guess Dakota Kai.
No, but like Io versus Dakota and Io versus Candice in matches would be very good to great. So it's like you could just have her successfully defend against both of them, and then you can build up and.
You know who I was thinking that she might face, and I mean it's a long shot, but I like taking long shots. Is Chelsea Green.
That could happen. I could
build her up first.
Well, but that's what he means. He means like long term they could have. Like if Io's gonna hold the belt long term and they build Chelsea Green up long term, they could have a future title match.
Yeah, my thing is I think they're gonna use Chelsea Green probably in the next takeover.
I don't know if they'd use her.
It was weird. Yeah, if y'all remember,
maybe
Robert Stone was in the show. He was just sad in the audience.
So funny.
I was wondering, why is Robbie E without freaking...
Can you believe that, like, he was a Jersey Shore parody back 10 years ago? like, that's crazy, eh? Yeah. Like, this guy was like, his only purpose was to be a Jersey Shore parody.
And he
was on Impact.
On Impact. I love that guy on Impact.
It's like...
That guy's fantastic. He's so funny.
So what was the point of him, like, showing up in your house, just sat on the...
Chelsea Green, on the last NXT, Chelsea Green told him that I'm better off without you, like the AOP did with Ron. Paul Ellering. Yeah. So now that she's.
Do you think they'll do an angle where he tries to like make sure that she brings him back as her manager, where he like tries to be like, oh come on, give me one more chance.
Yeah.
And they do that on TV. That'd be kind of funny.
I think they'll do that, but I think he'll get it because he'll get her a title shot.
Right.
And that's how it's going to work out like that.
Well, you know, maybe she is going to get built up because at least she'd be a fresh face to fill at a takeover.
But that's my thing is they're going to fill her out at the next takeover where they can build up Mia, Candice, Tegan.
But then if you do her at the next, she gets like a Brody Lee spot where it's like she's definitely losing to Io, and then you got to rehab her and build her back up for another title shot.
I don't think it's going to be, I want to say it's definitely going to be a clean finish, but it's going to be something like Robert Stone is going to try to distract the referee, and you know it's gonna mess with Chelsea Green, and she's going to get distracted, and he is going to beat her that way, and then you're going to see them break up and her ask for another title shot because she was screwed out of it.
All right, so it was a good show, like. Or it's a very good show. I don't think it was anything great. It was definitely nowhere near the level of Portland in February.
Gosh, no.
But like I'm still gonna give it like a thumb up. But I don't even think it was as good as Double or Nothing was a couple weeks ago. I thought it was good to very good, a thumb up, but no more than that. You know what I mean? I thought Double or Nothing was still a better show, and I definitely thought Portland was a better show than this. So.
Yeah, this is definitely what, NXT needed during the whole, pandemic, in my opinion. Like, this is a show that really reminded me that, takeovers are still big events, and, we're still going to have them no matter what. And they still pulled it off really well, even with some sour apples. It still didn't take away from the bigger picture of how great this show was. So.
And you know what the funny thing is I know it's during the pandemic and everything. That was probably their worst takeover, and I want to say over a year or maybe even longer.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It was the worst takeover in a while.
Yeah, you know what the funny thing is? It wasn't even that bad. Other than the Adam.
No, it wasn't. No.
Yeah.
No. There was nothing. Yeah. The only thing bad was the Backlot Brawl. Everything else was good to very good. But like as far. What's that?
I said that's how good their shows are. That was the worst in the last year, and it was still good. It was still a good event.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that Backlot Brawl is what made it feel like, a WWE like pay-per-view instead of NXT.
Yeah, it was a bad decision by Triple H to think they needed a cinematic title match for their main championship. It was just a bad decision. To be honest,
I think it wasn't Triple H's decision, because if I were Triple H, I would have said put in the ring.
Well, he's the Vince of NXT. He's got last say, does he not? Like.
Well, I mean, Road Dogg is the, how do you say that? The creator.
Yeah, I feel like Road Dogg might have done something. He was booking SmackDown for a while.
Anything is cinematic, it goes through Road Dogg in NXT.
Well, still, somebody greenlit the fact to have your two guys in the title picture do a cinematic match for a belt.
I feel like he just persuaded Triple H, hey, let's do this. Because
I hope they if they're gonna do it, never do it for a belt ever again.
No,
never for a championship. Is it like for Money in the Bank? That was fine. It's just it's a gimmick thing that you use and you hold. It's not a championship. Title belts are contested for in the ring. Championships should never be fought for.
Even Johnny and Tommaso wasn't even for the belt. That was like a.
That's what I mean. It was just a brawl type deal. Like there was no belt on the line. Like, can you imagine like Mox and Jake Hager having like a cinematic like beach match for the AEW World Title? No, would not happen. Like they have a Exalted One shed brawl between Brody Lee and Mox, and they're fighting in the Exalted One's secret lair. No, they're not going to do that. It's for a belt. It's a match. It's not cinematic. Yeah. So yeah, I didn't like that, and it was definitely the worst thing of the show. But as I said, I give it a thumb up. It was a pretty, like, as far as other takeovers that I've been used to, it was weak compared to them. But I guarantee the show will still be better than Backlash this Sunday. So yeah, I think you can guarantee that. Unless Edge and Orton do have the greatest wrestling match ever. Spoiler alert, I don't think they will. But I'm tuning in just to see if they do.
Definitely, I'll definitely text you.
Okay, so let's
I react to it live.
Let's spitball here. So we've got 5 titles we got 4 championships in NXT, and we've been doing 6-match cards. Let's not think about the whole card. Let's just try and figure out what the champions might be doing come the August takeover. What do you think?
Can I go ahead?
You can go ahead.
I already have.
Go ahead.
Okay, I think women's title, Io Shirai and Chelsea Green. If it's not Chelsea Green, it's Mia Yim and Candice LeRae with Io Shirai in a triple threat.
That's I could see that. Yep.
I think NXT North American title is Balor and Keith Lee.
Okay.
I say world title is Adam Cole and Karrion Kross.
Mm-hmm. What do you think Imperium might be doing?
And I think it's Imperium. I think Breezango, who's the #1 contender, I think that's a TV match. I think it's Imperium and the 2 Indian guys.
Oh, yes, I could definitely see that happening.
And you're probably saying, well, what happens to UE? UE is going to be on a 3-on-1 match against Dexter Lewis, and that's going to be on the card.
Yeah, or it's like some stupid gimmick with like Roddy and Dexter, and then Fish is like and O'Reilly are at ringside. Well, what's going on with O'Reilly? He hasn't been on like NXT.
Oh, he has a weak immune system because he's diabetic, so he doesn't.
Oh, so he's 100% in self-isolation. I figured it had to be health related.
Yeah, ever since the whole pandemic happened, he's just after Portland, he's like, I'm gonna go home. So.
Yeah, because I haven't seen him in like it feels like forever. I haven't seen.
He has appeared in like video calls, like everything these days, but that's about it.
To be fair, Adam Cole also went in like self-ice for a while too. He was just like recording promos with his belt from like his backyard for a while. Like he wasn't even on.
That was the program between him and Velveteen for a bit. Like Adam Cole was picking to show up. So.
So. For me, I'm still thinking it might be early for Cross. I can maybe imagine that it could happen. I just can't see Finn Balor going for the North American title when there's bigger fish to fry. Like, why would he not go after Adam Cole?
Here's my thing, right? Finn Balor's already had his time, and he's had a lengthy run as NXT champion. Mm-hmm. He's never won the UK title, which
he can't win anyway because Walter's in Europe.
But if it clears up and he's allowed to travel,
it's going to be done. Yeah, that would. Yeah. So, are you saying since that program needs to happen, he can't be going for the main belt because then he's going to be going for the UK title in the future?
It's not that. It's just I feel like if Finn Balor beat Adam Cole, it would be the shortest reign in NXT history because he would probably the next guy. If they do Finn Balor Adam Cole, the next guy's got to be Cross. And Cross would obviously dismantle Finn Balor.
Well, I'm not saying that Balor's going to win on his shot. I'm just saying he's going to fill up a takeover spot, and Adam Cole could still beat him.
Well, that would make him look weak, in my opinion.
Yeah, you get all those wins against Riddle, Gargano.
True. But like,
then you build him up and tear him down. That just Adam Cole doesn't need any more.
But like you risk the same thing. What if they want to keep the belt on Keith Lee really long and Keith Lee beats him? It's the same thing with the North American title.
I feel like he might come up soon, in my opinion.
Oh, Keith Lee? Potentially. Yeah. So like drop it to Finn before going up.
Yeah. And I honestly think he might be like you said, he might just be a card filler and fight Adam Cole or fight Keith Lee. And then when Walter comes, that's the main match. They might just throw him on NXT UK, and he might be the one to take it from him.
There's a chance.
I don't think a world title is in his picture. If he were to win one, I would say UK then North American title, because I think once the pandemic over, he's probably him and Walter are going to be the two main stars in NXT UK.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be. When Walter can do WWE stuff, Finn Balor's clearly going to be that feud they go back to. Like, that's definitely... They're not shelving that for good. They're just postponing it. So, yeah, I mean, I'm still... I don't know why I see Finn. It just seems like the only logical step for, like, a next match.
Yeah, I could see it. If you're saying he's not going to win the title, I could see that happening. But I just think that would wreck his momentum, especially if, a few months after that, like, fall time, the pandemic's over and Walter can travel. Like, people are going to remember, he just lost to Adam Cole. He's going to be Walter.
Yeah, well, I mean, he lost to Adam Cole in December on NXT television. But again, you could say it wasn't at a takeover, so, like... Mm-hmm. But yeah, I would say, again, I think it's Finn gets the next shot. I could be wrong, but if not, then maybe Cross, I guess, I'd have to go with.
And you know what they could do, honestly, if they don't want to put Finn back, or they think it's too early for... Honestly, I know people probably wouldn't like it, but they honestly could fill it with Dexter Lumis.
They could. I didn't see it, but they could.
When I seen that...
but if he gets a win over Cole non-title tonight, I can maybe suspend my disbelief and think, maybe they could do that.
Well, yeah, that's my thing, is why wouldn't they have him against Roddy or Fish tonight? Why does it have to be Adam Cole?
Yeah, they could be using Dexter for just a filler spot, but we'll see. North American title, that's a toughie. Like, who does Keith Lee go feud with after Johnny Gargano? That's a tough belt position. So, like, if I have Finn going after Cole just on speculatory purposes, Priest, as you said, he's already lost to like Keith Lee twice this year in title matches. So it's like if you go back to that, I know everybody's gonna have a hard time buying it, because now, as good as Priest looked against Balor, he still lost against him, and people are gonna remember, that guy like lost to Keith Lee like months ago. So are they really gonna buy it if he gets another shot? Now, granted, you could do it and book him to win, and probably it'd be shocking because not a lot of people could see that coming. So maybe I'll just go with him for now, just on the fact that if they do have him beat Keith Lee, not a lot of people will see it coming because they immediately think he'd be the underdog and is gonna lose. So that'd be the way to get around it. The tag titles, I said that what's that? I forget that Indian team's name. It's hard to pronounce.
I don't know either.
It's like those two big dudes. I think they're definitely going to get. They're like AOP 2.0 in NXT. They're getting built for a big dominant tag win, and
their tag division is very slim pickings right now.
It is. It's not in good shape. It's the opposite of AEW. And you know what? It's funny.
In good shape too.
NXT's best division is AEW's weakest, and AEW's best division is now, oddly enough, NXT's weakest. Isn't that kind of funny? Like, it's...
I mean, at one point, I think NXT had the best tag teams, but look where they are now. Obviously, the Revival is in AEW, and now, DIY is now dispersed, and then AOP is injured and on the main roster. Those.
But
UE's still there, but they don't have anyone to fight, so it's
that's my thing too, Gabe. Is DIY has been dispersed for a long time. You don't have a tag division. You want to make those big dudes obviously a threat. And Ciampa and Gargano have nothing left to do in NXT. I was always thinking maybe put them back together and.
Yeah, I was wondering what's next for Tommaso after this.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know what he does. I'm at a loss for him, to be honest. I don't know what he does.
Like, I don't think he's gonna go back to Karrion, right? Because they're gonna keep building Karrion Kross. Just putting Tommaso back to Karrion is gonna humiliate Tommaso's character.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you put them back together, it's like you just seen the guy get killed. Nobody's gonna buy. If anything, they're gonna go. Is Karrion gonna kill him better this time now?
Yeah, but again, it's you have 2 months, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have 2 months. If they put Gargano and Ciampa back together and they find their way, hey, I North American title.
But now you got to write yourself out of the fact that they had one final beat and feuded in the spring. Now they're just going to be buds and team again.
Yeah, it's just weird. Like, I thought they'll just take a
break. But like you said, look at Candice and Dakota Kai.
Yeah, but like Candice was a babyface for like they just turned Johnny heel against Ciampa. Yeah. Like they did that for the storyline purpose, and now they're just going to renege and have them be friends all within like a 4-month span. I doubt it.
Candice and Dakota aren't even that like into each other compared to Tommaso and Johnny, so it's. I mean, yeah, I guess they're both heels, so teaming up. I mean, it's not that big of a deal that we're making it, but it's Tommaso and Johnny getting back together is very quick.
What I'm gonna
even in the next months.
What I'm gonna say, boy, and for the women's title, I'd say like Chelsea Green's a good option, maybe for their first takeover for EO, but if not, then maybe Candice or Dakota. So, one of those 3 women. I would say in order, it'd be maybe Chelsea Green just for a new face on a takeover card, because they like to do that. They like to give new people an opportunity for like a big spotlight, and it'd be an interesting first defense for Io Shirai. But if not, I could see them pairing her back with Candice, because Candice is a heel now, and they have great chemistry. And then third, I could just see maybe Dakota schmoozing her way for a title shot, and they have Raquel be like her Diesel, and just kind of be like the threat on the outside, and it's an extra threat to Io's title despite her having a challenger. It's like, oh, her challenger's got like a big enforcer that can cost Io the match. So I'd say there's a handful of women you could book against Io Shirai with the women's title going forward. So I'd say any one of those 3. And then as far as the rest of the card, we'll just see where they go from here. Gabe, what do you think the title pictures might look like come August?
Well, I'm gonna hop off of or bounce back from your women's prediction. I mean, to me, I personally think they're pushing Mia Yim a lot, and they're trying to protect her as much as possible. Obviously, she can take whatever bump and she'll fight through it. Like those ladder matches she took. So, I think maybe SummerSlam she'll finally challenge Io Shirai. I mean, if she'll win or not, I mean, I don't know, but I definitely think she'll be a main contender for the title.
Mm-hmm.
Tag team division wise, I don't want to say the Indian people because we still don't know much about them other than they're powerful.
That's true.
So, I mean, have they had any matches recently?
It's all been squash matches.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Hey, we seen Cross get a bunch of squash matches, and he got on the takeover card.
Well, I mean, those are like, I don't know. His first real thing was against Tommaso, and then there's two small squash matches, but. I think they're just doing the Baron Corbin route where they just feed him, or Braun Strowman just feed a bunch of like local competitors or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So for the tag division, I mean, maybe if they build them up, I wouldn't mind Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch.
I find if they were going to do that, they would have done that on this show.
Yeah, you're right, but I don't know what's going on with Imperium,
I don't know what's going on with them either. It's like they were just done because
they're on and off.
Yeah, well, NXT, the reason they have the belts is because they decided they wanted to call up Matt Riddle, so they had to get the tag belts off him, and now Imperium's with them, and it's like they're heels, but I don't know, maybe they're building towards a multi-team match.
Have you seen Pete Dunne's latest tweet?
I haven't, no. Or was it about the digits? Was it about the Gargano using...
No, he said, he goes, when the pandemic's over, he goes, Broserweights versus Imperium. It's like, well, did you not hear Matt Riddle got called up?
Yeah, I was like, no, buddy, I doubt that's going to happen.
So, yeah, I don't know who... I'll just say Danny Burch and Oni Lorcan for the tag, but for the North American title, Timothy Thatcher. they're making him strong.
Oh, I completely forgot about him. Yeah, he won the program against Riddle on Riddle's way out.
Ultimately, it was in Timothy Thatcher's favor. So and I heard Matt Riddle's an achievement in NXT. So
and I heard Kurt Angle was supposed to manage him too.
Matt Riddle or
Thatcher?
No,
Thatcher. He turned down.
Really?
He turned down managing Riddle on SmackDown.
Yeah. So Timothy Thatcher is definitely someone.
I completely slept on him. I forgot about
the
momentum he got in the last couple weeks. Yeah, I can see it.
So imagine Keith Lee versus Timothy in a takeover.
That's money from an in-ring perspective, from a
Timothy
match.
Timothy is a giant man. I've met him up personally. He's ginormous.
But he's he's as old school a wrestler as you can probably possibly sign to a contract these days.
Yes,
in terms
sir.
of
he's
his
awesome.
style. Yeah.
And then I guess for the world title, that's always hard. I guess Karrion Kross for now, just to be safe. If at the speed that they're going at right now, with how he just took care of Tommaso in a month.
We're just gonna but I'm just gonna swing it to you guys for one little thing here because I know you're both gonna agree on that. So Adam Cole is the longest reigning champ ever as a heel, right? So he's the longest reigning champ in history. He's a heel. So he's gonna. A chicken shit heel is going to finally drop the belt after a long time to a monster heel. So a heel's going to drop the belt to another heel. When has that ever happened in NXT? Ever? Or is it so unprecedented that it needs to happen this time?
To me, I want to say Karrion Kross is like Braun Strowman. He's in the middle. I don't think he has a face. I don't think he's a face or a heel. I think he's neutral. I think he's Karrion Kross.
When you say Braun Strowman, when he was at his prime, debuting for Raw, right?
No, but you look at Braun Strowman, right? When Braun Strowman takes on Bray Wyatt or The Fiend, he's the face. When he takes on Elias, he's a heel because Elias is a face. They're not going to have him be one because he's got a wide range of opportunity and he's got a wide range.
But I think for the longest time,
a better comparison to me is Brock Lesnar than a Braun.
Yeah, Brock's a far better comparison, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
So because Brock was put against Seth when Seth was a chicken shit heel and Brock was still Brock.
There you go. That's a good example, right?
Okay, so what do you think about that, Gabe? You agree with that, or?
I think that's definitely possible because Adam Cole is, he's a fan favorite. NXT knows that he's a fan favorite. Heel or just being a.
The crowd does love Bebe.
Yeah, so it's definitely possible for him to drop the belt to Karrion. And the program with them would be entertaining. So it's
But I think you might see another squash if they book Cole against him. I think Karrion beats him quick.
Well, that's where the UE comes in, So
I suppose so.
They come in and try to neutralize the squash, and then it makes Karrion look even stronger.
Yeah, if he kills them all and still beats him, you would put him over strong. Guess you guys got a point.
I think the storyline between them would be amazing, right? Because, like you said, his entrance, the way he cut a promo on Tommaso Ciampa from the screen, I think he would mind fuck with UE, and it would be a pretty good story leading up to their takeover.
Just the Undisputed Era's reaction from having to deal with him, you think could just have some compelling stuff on television and be a result of that?
100%. Okay. Yeah, and you think. And I guarantee you, if they do that story, Adam Cole is going to be like, if you want to get a title shot, you've only beat Tommaso Ciampa. You need to be my 3 UE members first. And they can do that every 2 weeks.
Yeah, and they can do that on television leading up to the match. Man,
yep, exactly.
Maybe it happens. You guys are kind of swindling me a bit, but I'm still going to favor Finn Balor over him by a tiny hair. I just want to see, we always have altering opinions on this here podcast, so.
Well, don't forget that Io Shirai won.
Yeah, I struck out there. But you know what? In my defense, I thought they were going for the long-term story with Charlotte and Rhea. I didn't think it was just fuck Rhea and kill her momentum and then just move back to Raw. Fuck, I thought they were doing it in the long game with them for Rhea to get her win back. Fuck, I'm stupid for booking like a traditional wrestling booker should do it. Well, that's what you get sometimes for not looking at WWE's small-minded picture. But let's think of the long game for Rhea Ripley's benefit.
Well, that's just how predictions go.
Yeah, it's just how they go sometimes. So now I throw it to, we are done our review of the show. We're done kind of predicting maybe the next card for a takeover spotlight. Now I throw it over to you gentlemen for the cheapest of plugs. If you have anything you want to kind of plug as we finish out here, go ahead now. Gabe, we'll start with you because you usually always have something.
All I gotta say, I won't say anything after this in a way. Shout out to the best tag team ever, Capital Vices, consisting of Jason and Brandon Money Green. I just gotta say that. And other than that, it's my this is sadly gonna be my hiatus for a bit from Apron Bumps, since I am joining the military for a couple months. But I will be back soon. Just doing more predictions once I'm out of there. I want to say just maybe it'll be a couple months. Definitely not a year, but just a couple months until I return.
Like the summer into the fall.
Yeah, I want to say around fall time I'll definitely be back.
So we shall miss you in your months being gone, because you really contributed a lot to the show. So it'll be a long couple months without you. So Brandon,
thanks for having me. It's awesome.
It's been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed doing this. So Brandon,
I'll be back out of nowhere. So don't forget, I'll be coming back like it's a John Cena injury. All right.
Yeah, he's gonna.
Who knows it? Gabe Nozid.
So Brandon, you got anything you got to plug?
I never have any plug. Flip your.
Okay, so what you're saying is you're throwing it back to me? I'm catching the...
100%.
Okay, so you're throwing it back to me. I'm gonna do a basketball reference for you, Brandon. I got the rebound, right? So I'm gonna throw it into
there you go.
Catch the ball, throw it in the rebound. Woo! Get the switch, baby. You know what I mean? So yes,
3 points right there.
Thank you very much to anybody who listened to this on Anchor and gave it a little download. Now, Anchor is not the only platform we are on. As a part of being on Anchor, Anchor distributes us to various platforms. So you can also hear us on Breaker, Google Podcasts, Overcast, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, Copy RSS, and of course my personal favorite and the most important of all, that being Spotify. We are available on all those platforms for download. So if you do like what you heard, do download and give the little Apron Bumps page a follow so you know whenever we post a new podcast. And also, if you happen to watch the video form of this on my YouTube channel and you enjoyed what you heard, give the little subscribe button to my channel. We do these podcasts whenever there's a decent show, say like an NXT Takeover, definitely an AEW pay-per-view, and a Heritage WWE show like a WrestleMania, SummerSlam, or Survivor Series of Royal Rumble, where we'll do predictions for the show and then do an actual review once it's done and we've seen it. So that is it for us today, everybody, and we are going to Spanish fly on out of here. Take care.